Welcome back guys to another video on Intro to Machine Learning. In this video we are going to learn how to handle our categorical variable in our data sets. There are three approaches through which we can handle categorical variable. Number one is drop categorical variables. The easiest approach to dealing with categorical variable is simply to remove them from the data set. This approach will only work well if the columns did not contain useful information. Categorical variables data types are of object. We can drop the object column with select db types method. In the first line of code, we select the data type by passing the parameter exclude is equal to object. This will remove all the categorical variables from our data set and we'll store it in drop xstring variable. That is, similarly we will do for xValid variable. So this is the simplest approach to dealing with categorical variables. In the first line of code we see we are importing label encoder from sklearn library. We are going to copy xtrain and xvalid to another variable for avoiding any change to original data. Now we apply label encoder to each column with categorical data. The object columns contain all the categorical variable. We are going to loop through each of them and apply label encoder.fit transform to each column. Similarly, we will do for valid data. For each column, we randomly assign each unique value to a different integer. This is a common approach that is simpler than providing custom labels. However, we can expect an additional boost in performance if we provide better informed label for all ordinal variables. The number 3 we have Onehot encoding. Onehot encoding creates new column indicating the presence or absence of each possible value in the original data. In this example, color is a categorical variable with 3 categories: red, yellow and green. The corresponding Onehot encoding contains 1 column for each possible value and 1 row for each row in the original data set. Wherever the original value was red, we put a 1 in the red column. If the original value was yellow, we put a 1 in the yellow column, and so on. Onehot encoding generally does not perform well if the categorical variable takes on a large number of values. We are going to import Onehot encoder from sklearn library. There are multiple parameters we can use in Onehot encoder to customize its behavior. We set handle unknown to ignore. This is to raise an error or ignore if an unknown categorical feature is present during transform. So in this one we are going to specify ignore to avoid any error when validation data contains classes that aren't represented in the training data. The next one is sparse is equal to false. This is to return a numpy array instead of a sparse matrix. The next we are going to do is an encoder fit transform to our xtrain data and transform to our valid xvalid data. The Onehot encoding removes index, so we have to put it back to our duplicate variable data. Now we can remove our categorical columns by using drop method and passing the column as a parameter and access to 1, which means we are going to remove the column. Now we are going to concat our numxtrain that has datasets without our categorical variable and our ocallstrain variable that has our Onehot encoded variables. So we perform the same operation to xvalid data. Out of 3 approaches, we see that Onehot encoding and label encoding performs better than the drop categorical variables.